there. All right, let's get to 10, where this starts the debate right here. This is a Philadelphia pick. Of course, Super Bowl, they lose to Kansas City. What do they look to add? Well, you got them going way outside the box here. This is very un-Howie Roseman going with Bijon Robinson. Some people think this is a top 3 to 5 player in the entire draft, and you got him going number 10. I don't know that I see this, man. I like the player. I don't know about the spot. Give me your expository on why you like Robinson in this spot.
Mike, I've seen the light. I've had some conversations with some folks out in Indianapolis, and yes, it's very unorthodox, against the grain of what Howie Roseman traditionally does. And what he traditionally does is build from the inside out. It's no secret that he likes to add bodies inside the trenches. And, there's still a very good chance that he might do that. But hear me out. Okay, you've got this once-in-a-lifetime talent, a generational talent that gets overused so commonly. But Bijon Robinson is the real deal. I mean, I think he solidified that out in Indianapolis. You've got a pending free agent in Miles Sanders who's going to probably command somewhere around $8 million per year. You've got a dual-threat quarterback in Jalen Hurts who you want to kind of reel back the touches and the carries. And despite what some people say about Kenny Gainwell, I don't view him as a true number one workhorse running back. Bijon Robinson is all that and more. You take some of that backfield stress off of Jalen Hurts. You make the backfield that much more dynamic, and he's a pass catcher, dual threat ability. Oh, by the way, the Giants, it sounds like, are not going to come to terms with Saquon Barkley. They would be the other potential suitor there in the first round for Bijon Robinson. So you keep him away from one of the in-division rivalries. You add him to the mix there, and you upgrade the running back position at a cheaper cost had you brought back Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, Robinson had a great week, by the way. 5'11", 215, runs a 4.47. He's top 5 in the vertical and the broad jumps. I mean, this guy came as advertised. And look, nobody would argue. I would love Saquon Barkley. I would love Bijon Robinson, but the value at that spot, man, I mean, we just saw it. You can get a guy in the 7th round and win the Super Bowl, and that shouldn't be the rule, no question. But at what point? Look, the Eagles are interesting, Rick, because they have another pick. So is this kind of a luxury spot for them being at 10, or do they draft what they like to do, their defensive tackle, their offensive lineman like they like, and then use 30 to try to see if Robinson falls? Can they get him in that? What's the floor for Robinson? I think that's the big conversation here. All these teams like him, but I think everybody's saying, can we get him a little lower? Can we get him a little lower?
I believe the floor is 25 to the Giants. That's as low as Bijon Robinson is going to fall. And
all right, so then Philadelphia can get in the mix then at 30 and try to move up over 25 and try to work in there? No,
listen, I understand like Howie Roseman's philosophy and what he's done in the past. I also understand that Howie Roseman likes value. So I would say it's not a luxury, Mike. I would say it's a value pick because, again, if I'm getting a top 5 talent at number 10, that's real value. Like if I look back 10 years from now and say, hey, Bijon Robinson might be the best damn player in the draft and I can have him at number 10, that's incredible value. And I think Howie Roseman recognizes that.
I agree with all that. I mean, but the Giants took Barkley at number 2, and they're not going to keep him, it looks like, because they don't value that position.
Was it worth the pick? Did they get return on investment?
Not really. I mean, he was hurt. They made the playoffs once.
Do you think Philadelphia saw what happened to San Francisco once they acquired Christian McCaffrey down the stretch?
I think it all plays here, man. But look, Barkley was the second, and I know the Eagles liked McCaffrey in that draft and probably would have taken him.
And Robinson does the same things. He can run, he can catch, he can be dynamic, just like Christian McCaffrey. They didn't lose a game.
Well, listen, here's what's interesting to me. Giants at 25. Old buddy Doug Peterson's at 24. Hey, Dougie P, you don't want a running back there. Why don't we flip-flop spots? We'll throw you a 3rd, and we get into the Robinson mix.
Yeah, I'm of the belief I'd never draft picks are like lotto tickets. If I don't have to give up draft equity and I can get my guy at 10 and I have him inside the top 5, I'm pulling the trigger.
Yeah, well, I'm just, look, I love the player. I just don't know that the Eagles now I brought this up a week ago on my radio show. Like, hey, is it a luxury spot where we have 2 picks and we can say, Let's do it. This is the best player because you're right. Roseman goes for value. He values, and if this is the best player on their board at number 10, will he say, best player on the board, got to take him? I would be shocked but interested to see how that all plays out.
Well, I'll give you this one final thought. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to be sticking around quite some time. I'll leave this last thought with you, Mike, and it's rhetorical. Had the Philadelphia Eagles had Bijon Robinson on the roster in the Super Bowl, is the outcome different?
Good question. Very good question. Now, who do they not have, though, because they took a running back in that spot is the retort to that. Did they draft a guy there that left them where they like? I mean, look, this team needs,
I think you're just swapping out Miles Sanders, who's your free agent. If
in
you
this
have
case,
Robinson
yes,
instead of Miles.
yes, but in this case, you're probably losing Hargrave. You're probably losing Fletcher Cox. You're probably losing James Bradbury. That defense needs a major overhaul potentially. They might lose both linebackers. They might lose both safeties. I mean, there's a report over the weekend. All these teams are enamored with Marcus Epps. You know, does he get a contract you weren't expecting? Do you bring back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? Okay, now you need another safety. Does somebody take TJ Edwards? Does somebody take Kaiser White? You got Nakobe Dean, but now you need another. You're not going to draft a linebacker.
Yeah, but Mike, Howie has prepared for this. He has players in the pipeline. He has Reed Blankenship. He has Nakobe Dean. He has Joshua. He's got Brandon Graham. He can bring back on a hometown discount. He drafted Jordan Davis, so he has all these young players in the pipeline.
We think. Well, there was a report this weekend, by the way, as well. Brandon Graham drawing interest. One of the teams, Cleveland, Jim Schwartz. Hey, buddy, come out, play with me. They're going to be interesting at 10. And one of the reasons why they're interesting is obviously this is a Super Bowl runner-up in the top 10. And we know Howie Roseman likes to wheel, deal, shake, move. Does he move up? Does he move back? Because this team lacks picks in the mid-rounds. Does he move himself back, add some more mid-round picks, and get himself into the 15 to 20 range, and then they have 20, 30, and they get themselves a fourth and a fifth. We'll see. They're one of the teams everybody should have an eye on in this draft, but you just talked about it. Moving, shaking. That's the top 10. Check out the full thing, NFL Draft Bible, the all-access pass. We're giving it to you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays here on the BFA Sports YouTube channel, all the social media. Get it out there. Tell your friends, like, rate, review, subscribe. Hit that like button right there if you're liking what we're hearing. If you're liking what we're giving you, if you like what you hear right